Hi there, it's Ron. And this is Zeus, the one and only, right here. He's just staying cozy. Um, I just wanted to make a little video. Let me scoot this a little bit. There we go. Okay. Um, okay. In case you're wondering, the trash bags and the tape over the window is because it's 0 degrees outside and I don't have curtains, just window shades. Anyway, I want to give a little update on, well, uh, on my big news lately that uh, I'm making these speaking presentations in this Recovery 101 program that's put on by UT Southwestern and a couple other entities, including NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness, and um, we had our first presentation on Sunday. It's a 4 hour presentation, little over 4 hours, uh, and uh, I speak. There's four different sections, and I speak on one of them. So we had the first one on Sunday, and I was really nervous going into it, but uh, it went far better than I expected, and always reminds me of what Tom Petty sang in a song of his called "Crawling Back to You." I had to think of that for a second. Uh, at the end of the song, at the end of the song, he sings, "Most things I worry about never happen anyway." So that was one of those things. I was very nervous going in, but it turned out great. And I'll also be getting involved with uh, NAMI for what they call NAMI Day of Action on February 26th. We'll have a preparation meeting online, of course, February 22nd, I think it is, to get everyone plan out everything, and then February 26th, we we share our stories with different legislators. Uh, I think in this case, I think it's going to be state legislators, but we share our stories to try to guide them on uh, where people with mental health conditions need help, what they can do, like increasing resources and resources fundings, etc., etc. And hopefully by sharing our stories, that gets done. And from what I've been told, NAMI has had a lot of success with that, and I'm proud to be part of that. Excuse my sniffling. Like I said, it's 0 degrees out, and I had to walk Zeus about an hour or so ago. He doesn't like the cold either. So, anyway, him up real quick. There you go, buddy. Um, I'm just beyond excited about this Recovery 101 program and the Day of Action. There's going to be more of those days of action as well. And I mean, I still had a good feeling going into that, even though I was nervous before the presentation. We have another one next week. It was going to be Tuesday, February 16th, um, but that got postponed because of all the power outages and everything else going on. So we'll do another one on February 23rd. But basically, it just, all the positive feedback I've been getting from that and from the doctor who's directing that program and other people involved in it, and also just some of the positive feedback I've gotten on my podcast and videos. It's basically letting me know I found a new career. And I'm even more excited because I'm getting paid for my presentations with Recovery 101. and that just tells me I've got a new career. Now I just have to figure out how to make full-time money at it eventually. But the way it's funny how things happen. Like John Lennon said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. For much of this, I've just been doing my thing. Uh, like many years ago, I'll never forget. This is after the 2008 or 2009 Boston Marathon. I was at Bill Rogers' store. We were having a big celebration there. Um, for those not familiar, Bill Rogers won Boston Marathon 4 times and New York City Marathon 4 times. So um, we were there celebrating the day after the race, and at that point said it was either after my 8th or 9th Boston, and a security guard that was worked at Faneuil Hall Marketplace in Boston, so he was always around the Bill Rogers Running Center. Uh, Security guard named Jerry. He was friends with all of us, and I remember him coming over to me the day after the race that year and telling me how much it meant to people in Boston that I came back and ran every year. And I thought he meant like a generalized all the runners. And he was just adamant. He was telling me, no, you don't understand. People look for you. They look for you. It means a lot that you come back and run it. Because by then it was 8 or 9 in a row, and I'd written a couple of articles about Boston Marathon and stuff. And that just let me know, to confirm things we do have an impact on people, even though I wasn't consciously thinking on that scale. I was just coming back and doing my thing around Boston every year. Similar kind of thing. I think it was 2016. Um, I was running through Boston College. This is my 16th Boston. And I was running through Boston College, and all the frats and sororities were out there, a couple hundred of them, and they were, very, very noisy and probably a little drunk, or maybe a lot drunk and everything. But as I was coming up and I was carrying my flag and everything that I run with, and my American flag, and as I was coming up, some of them started pointing and said, "It's Running Ron, Running Ron, Running Ron." And they were just going wild with the frats and sororities out there. And I was just stunned. And as I was running through, I just looked at them and I said, "How the hell do you know who I am? How the hell do you know my name?" And they all, as I was passing by, uh, a bunch of them yelled at the same time, "We saw your videos on YouTube." And I was just like, wow. So someone really is watching it. Of course, you see the counter on YouTube. Like my Big Boston video is up to almost 12,000 views now, which totally stuns me. But uh, yeah, people are paying attention when we least expect it. We have impacts on other people's lives, and that's part of how I got into this whole public speaking thing and making podcasts and videos. Uh, in uh, 2009, late 2019, I went to as an observer for a NAMI talk at Parker University. I went there as an observer, and to talk to a occupational. Excuse me. It's been miserably cold here and chilly inside the apartment. a NAMI speaker was talking to a occupational therapy class about different mental health conditions and uh, you know, approaches to therapy, et cetera, because that class wanted to know more about when people are going through occupational therapy. It's quite often when people are going through a difficult time like that that they have depression or maybe even PTSD or some other things going on, and they want to know more about how they can talk to people that have different mental health conditions. And in the question and answer session afterward, uh, the subject of PTSD was brought up. So I made a few comments. I spoke my truth about it and spoke my experience about it. And as I was leaving, um, after the question and answer and everything, you know, people were saying goodbye and all that, and I was walking down the hallway, and just as I was getting to the door of the building, a couple of the, I think there was three of them, the young ladies that were in that class, they had ran down the hallway and caught up to me because they wanted to see if I could come back another time and talk to their class and tell my story. Because they heard enough of my story in the question and answer thing that they wanted to know more. And so we lined it up and everything. And uh, in December 2019, I came back and shared my story with them, part of it anyway. Uh, a couple days before Christmas that year, I got this wonderful little card from them. And this is how much, you know, things we do can impact other people. I'll just read a couple of the messages on here. Of course, the big thank you and telling me, wishing me a Merry Christmas. And this one said, Ron, thank you so much for sharing your life journey with us. You have come so far, and it's admirable that you're using your story to help others. And another one says, thanks for talking with us. You're an inspiration. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ron, for taking time out of your day to educate us. Thank you for sharing your journey. It means a lot. Ron, and something the instructor wrote, Ron, we really learned from your sharing your story. And one that really touched me, this lady wrote, it takes a lot of courage to speak about what you've gone through. You will change the world. So there it is again. And there's a few others, and you can see that really touched my heart, them writing this. But that's core of the reason I'm sharing my story and speaking my truth is that I don't want other people to go through it alone the way that I went through it alone before I found therapy. To let them hear another voice out there, see another person out there. I think in particular with PTSD. So maybe they'll see me speaking in person, or maybe they'll just see one of my videos or my podcast, or now I have a much bigger platform coming up with NAMI, and I'm excited about that. And I just wanted to share that because I'm beyond excited about how that first speaking presentation went with the Recovery 101. So it's just my mom used to sign every card and letter with the Frank Sinatra phrase, "The best is yet to come." And that's how I really feel. And again, all of this reminds me of how much things we do and say can impact others. Just another brief example, when Brian May, the guitar player from Queen, with several of his songs, in particular "Back to the Light," a song called "Back to the Light" and "Too Much Love Will Kill You," when he shared his journey through depression, his struggles with depression and other mental health conditions, when he shared that helped keep me going, that inspired me. And he might not have consciously been thinking that, I don't know, but he had the courage to share his story. And this is a constant reminder of, well, really fell off, of what it's all about, is communicating with other people. And so I always like to say, borrow that phrase from Yoda, Jedi Master: luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. We are luminous beings. And just remember that. Everyone, stay safe and reach out for help if you need it, and help others when you can. All right, thanks again.